So I don't know if my husband told you, but we rewatched Set It Off last night. We watched it on the plane here, and it's amazing to see your range as actors. And like 20 years later,
Set It Off was on the plane?
We watched it on the plane on the way over here. Yep.
Okay, got it.
And it's amazing to see the range you two ladies have as actors because they're such different characters. Yet I'm wondering what it would be like, and this is just kind of a fun thing, if the girls from Set It Off and the ladies from Girls Trip went out for a wild night out. Ooh. What would happen?
You know what? Yeah.
Those beef scenes would have ended a lot different.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it would have been a bigger problem.
Yeah, that's definitely.
It would have been a good time. Cleo would have probably been trying to get with Sasha or Lisa or.
Yes.
Cleo would have been hitting on all four of the girls.
But I think some of the fight scenes that we had in Girls Trip would have ended a little differently.
Yeah.
I think it'd have been a little brutal.
And I know we are in the area where we did the famous ziplining scene from the trailer that everybody loved. How many times did you ladies have to do that, and what did you have going on, like a water balloon pack or something?
Yeah, it wasn't a water balloon pack, but it was like a water pack that was full of Gatorade, and then you had some tubes coming out of certain places, and that's how we did that.
It was funny. It was super funny. I was right there watching her hang there, doing that, and it just went everywhere.
Yeah, it did.
It's like, what? This is ridiculous. It's great.
Now, I know you ladies are both musicians as well, and when you're creating something like music or a song, what is the difference in doing that versus creating a character for a film?
For me, I mean, it's always fun to be creative either way, but music is more instant gratification. You can create it and do it, and it's done. Be done in a day. You know, movies takes a while to see. You can get it to your audience much quicker, but movies it takes a while to kind of to see what people think about it. And there's a few more cooks in the kitchen. Musically, there's not that many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the buck stops here.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Right. So
and it's very personal.
Right.
Music tends to be a lot more personal because it's yours. So you're usually expressing an emotion, an event, something personal that happened to you.
Right.
I do movie reviews every Saturday in Baltimore for WBAL.
Nice.
So Jada, what would you like to say to the Baltimore audience that's going to see this, and what is it about Baltimore that is so special to you in your life?
Well, shoot, the thing about Baltimore that's so special is that I was born and raised in Baltimore. It's home forever. And I think that it's just a good time. And I think that Baltimore could always use a good time. We always have some heavy stuff going on in Baltimore. And this is an opportunity for people to just go out and forget all that and just have a good time. Just let it all go and just laugh.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Another scene I absolutely loved in Girls Trip was when you're doing the dance off in the club.
Oh yeah.
How many times did you guys rehearse that or routine?
That was we were there for a minute trying to get that. We did the dance off and the fight scene the same day.
Oh wow.
That was a heavy day. Yeah.
It was a lot, but it was fun though.
It was a lot of fun.
I mean, just the dancing alone, especially watching her and Tiffany. Me and Regina, we kind of played the back a little bit, but her and Tiff would go in.
Yeah, and Tiffany, that robot thing that she did, that was all improv.
Right.
We all it was just all improv. She just out of the blue. Yeah.
There we are on that truck right there.
Over there. Well, thank you, ladies. It was a pleasure. You have some fans here.
We do indeed.
Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
love that. I know people have been asking you about this all day, Tiffany, but the grapefruit scene.
People don't ask me about that too often.
They're not? Okay. It was so funny and so unexpected, and I didn't know what that was before I saw the movie. How many times did you have to do that, and how were you
About
keeping
6 to 8 times.
Okay.
It's nothing for me. I like it. It's grapefruit. It's good for you.
Yeah, it is.
And banana got the potassium, It's a complete vitamin package. Yeah, it's a fat burner.
Well, I loved it. And
keep your skin nice.
Regina, I loved your character because I thought she was so relatable, and the fact that when she had to boost herself, she had to say, you know, I'm strong, I'm powerful, I'm beautiful, and I just thought it was a really relatable message for women going through a similar situation. What are you hoping with the message of your character to bring across to the audiences will be?
You know, I think, you know, the journey of, you know, self-love, you know, and self-respect. And I think sometimes, especially in this media world that we live in, we're so much more concerned about others' perception of us more than how we feel about ourselves and how we treat ourselves. And I think to just the support she ends up getting from her friends to remind her of that. I love that sisterhood and that self-empowerment, you know, because I think as women we really are beautiful and strong. And you're recently married, so, you know, I think it's important for women to be honored and loved and, you know, cherished.
Mm-hmm. And stronger with girlfriends around too.
Right. Oh, stronger with girlfriends. I think your girlfriends keep you true to who you are.
Wonder Woman would have never been who she was if she didn't have an island full of females
full of the
supporting her, training her, beating her down, showing her how to be a strong woman.
Yes.
Would have never been no Wonder Woman.
Totally agree.
That island of women.
Now this seems like a really fun set where you guys had a lot of fun. I know after films are done, a lot of actors go home. They don't ever talk to each other again. Are you guys on like a group text or a group email after this?
We actually have a group text.
Really?
Yes,
We do.
And I send them Groupon deals.
Yeah. No, we do. We group text, and you know, we always are in each other's spirits and hearts. And you know, if we see each other, we're excited. Or if one of us does something, we like to share it. I mean, I think since we met, we just wanted to make sure we stay connected.
Yes.
You know, and stay in touch and stay.
And they all have the best advice.
And you definitely get that vibe in the film that you guys were having a lot of fun. And Tiffany, I have seen some of your stand-up comedy on YouTube, and because I became a fan of yours after Keanu.
Oh, thank you.
And I love that movie. But what is the difference in getting a live audience reaction and performing jokes that way versus doing it in a film where it's just, you know, the actors around you and the crew?
Well, it's immediate gratification when you have a live audience because they're letting you know, it's validating your thoughts and your jokes immediately. When you're doing it with the crew and everything, they're not supposed to laugh.
Yeah, they can't because they
They're
mess
not
up the
supposed to.
scene.
They can't. It would mess it up. But when they say cut and then everybody falls out laughing, and it's like, oh, okay, I did good. But if they say cut and nobody says nothing, and then she's looking at you like this, you're like, okay, I probably should not do that on the next take.
Well, thank you, girls. I had a great time talking to you today. And Regina, I'm going to miss you, baby girl. Scary movie.
Yes.
My girlfriends and I quote that all the time. I'm like, I'm going to miss you,
I'm
baby
gonna
girl.
miss you, baby. I know.
Yes.
Her and Brenda and Cindy.
Yes, I know you're on Stars is Power, and obviously being in a TV show, you get to have a character over multiple different episodes, so there's more of a character arc. When you're going into a role, whether it's a TV role or a movie role, is there a different approach to you in how you would do a TV character versus a movie character?
For me, I try to approach each platform the same.
Yeah.
You know, I just find what qualities that I can connect with in the character and just try to be as honest as possible. You know, if I believe what I'm doing and I'm saying, I feel like the audiences will believe in what I'm doing. That must be Queen Latifah or Jada.
I'm sure it's Jada and Queen Latifah coming
Listen,
out.
they get so much love. This movie is going to, there's points in everyone's career that you have some really good stuff, right?
Yes.
This is another point for their career, I think for all of us, where people are really going to embrace this and see something new and fresh and want to see more movies like Girls Trip.
Oh my God, yes, it's a perfect blend of like comedy and heartfelt as well.
Yes.
I really love the scene where you're in the music club and you're playing the bass.
Sure.
Are you a musician in real life or?
What? I did not play the bass
Really?
before I was working on this movie, but I just needed to learn the specific parts to the song. My character Julian is a bass player. He travels all over the world, and he, you know, travels with Neo, the artist Neo. We were able to actually get Neo in the movie,
Yes.
the whole thing, and that particular part, I was just saying, give me what I need, and I learned it. But once I got away from it, I dropped it. You know, as a musician, you got to always stay on it. But I was just, you know, really excited to be able to pick up the bass and learn, you know, a few things about the instrument, and felt pretty good about it. You know, it felt natural, and I think people will believe it.
So did you do a lot of training before like starting to film, or you just kind of like played around with it?
I worked with an actual bass instructor.
Okay.
And I watched videos, and I was able to take myself a few times and do things, and it came off, you know, nicely. Now there's some bass players who see it and they say, "I thought you played the bass." I'm like, "All right, cool."
Right.
Yeah, don't show all the outtakes. Just show what we put in there.
The good stuff. I mean, obviously, music and the soundtrack is such a massive part of the film.
Sure.
More Jada and Queen Latifah love out here.
More Jada, more Queen Latifah, more Tiffany, more Regina, more Girls Trip.
So, but the soundtrack and the music's such a big role in the film. What type of music do you like to listen to?
I listen to it all. It's very eclectic. I listen to everything from hip hop to reggae to classical. I take my little boys to school every morning, and we listen to it all. A little Bob Marley, a little Mozart. Keep them cultured all the way around, and throw some hip hop when I go pick them up from school.
Yeah. And last question for you. I love the scene with yours and Regina Hall's characters outside the hotel when you're dropping her off. It's kind of an awkward goodbye, or should we kiss? And then Regina Hall comes back out and like, what is that? It's like, well, I'm wondering, I know it wasn't a first date for them, but have you had any like awkward like first date experiences?
Of course, I've had some awkward first date. You don't really know, is this the time to kiss someone? Do they want me to kiss them? Oh, because what made it awkward is because you feel the kinetic energy. There's something magical and strong between the two, but they don't know if they want to overstep that boundary or not. So I've had a couple of those things, and for us to be able to put something like that in the movie was very genuine, and I'm happy that people responded well to it.
So congrats on this movie. I loved it. We saw it on Tuesday night with a whole audience full of people, and everybody was just cracking up.
Did you have a good time?
Oh my God, I had the best time.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
Now let me ask you, because you saw the movie, were you white girl wasted when you saw it?
I wasn't.
You were
I wasn't.
not. Okay,
I
good.
had like 2
so you remember something?
No, I had 2 drinks. Oh, I remember the whole entire thing. It
You
was
had
so
2
fun.
drinks. It takes a lot more for you to get white girl wasted.
Yes, it does.
I'm going to tell your husband, because I know him and I'm going to tell him that
He
you're out
knows
there
I like my
drinking.
wine. Yeah, no, he knows. But I love the balance of the raunchy comedy, but also the real dynamic of these girls with the friendships and like seeing how they play out, especially towards the end. Can you talk about the balance of, you know, balancing comedy versus seeing their true friendships and emotional depth?
You know, that's kind of the thing that I kind of pride myself on as a filmmaker, you know, is balancing those things. I get a lot of inspiration from life. I think life has all those ups and downs, you know, with the things that are really funny and fun, and there are also times where, you know, things get a little more serious and get a little more, you know, sad or emotional. So I wanted to make sure that we had a movie that was definitely funny, first and foremost, but also have something that is going to have some heart and some intelligence and some layers to it.
Exactly. And I know that you filmed at the Essence Festival last year. Were people coming up to Jada and Queen Latifah not realizing that they were in a movie, and how did you handle that?
Every scene.
Every scene.
Well, we did, and this was Malcolm's plan, which I got to give him props for. So we would put our extras, right? So you got all these thousands of people that were here for the festival that don't realize that Queen Latifah is playing Sasha in the movie Girls Trip. They just go, "Queen Latifah! There's Latifah, I need a picture!" So we shielded them with our extras. So we paid a couple hundred extras to put around our actors. So you had the thousands of real people, but we had at least a layer, a barrier of real extras. That's a little kind of filmmaking process that it worked for the most part.
No, it definitely worked. I mean, you know, there's some bodyguards in the shots too, but you won't notice them. You know, and maybe about the 5th time you see it, 5th time. You might, but I mean, you know, look, if we want to have an immersive experience at Essence, you know, and give the audience the feeling that, hey, this is what it's like to be here, and to be with these girls and to be one of the Flossy Posse.
And I love the scene where Tiffany's character gets up on the stage with Diddy. Obviously, was that planned, I'm assuming, or was it improv? Because
a little bit of both.
Okay.
A little bit of both. It was like, you know, it was like, well, Diddy was like, well, yeah, I'll get, all we really wanted was a look from him. And then he's like, well, I might bring them all up on stage. But he ends up trying to grab her and pull her up over like an amplifier that was like 6 feet tall. And it was impossible for her to get over there in her high heels. And here comes Latifah, Johnny on the spot right behind her, like pushing her up over, giving her a boost. So, you know, everything was kind of improvised after that. And we were, our hearts were in our throats like, oh my God. And then it turned out to be fantastic. And that was day 3, I think.
Yeah,
wow.
Right.
And last question for you. I love Regina Hall's character because I think she's so relatable, and she keeps saying, I'm strong, I'm powerful. what message do you hope that, you know, women who may be going through a similar situation might take away after seeing this film?
No matter what you're going through, no matter how big you get, no matter how tough the challenges are, there's nothing like your sisterhood, your best friends that will pull you through.
Yeah.
And if you have that crew that you can count on and you depend on each other through it all, you can persevere.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you guys. I can't wait to see the movie again.
All
Thank
right.
you so much for your time
Good
today.
job.